This video is for the practice for composition of function, practice number 1, side 2. So on this video, I'm going to be doing numbers 2, 6, 16, and 18. So this is a little different than side 1. This time when you are composing these functions, you should notice that all the inputs have the letter X. So that means your answers are all going to have the letter X in them. So what we're starting with here is f of h of x. I'm going to take that function h of x, since it's on the right, and put it into the function of f. So this h of x right here is going to go into f for x. So when I do this, remember we start by writing f just as it is, but putting parentheses where the x would go. You're going to fill in your h, the x squared plus 1, in those parentheses for x. Now all you have to do is distribute here and then collect like terms. So 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times 1 is 2 minus 1. Collect these constants, which gives me 2x squared plus 1. That is the value of f of h of x. You have a new function. All right, so we did number 2. Now let's look at number 6. Same equations. This time we're looking for h of g of x. So I start with the function on the right, g, and I'm going to put that into the function of h. So g here goes in to h. So let's set this up. Instead of h here, instead of x, I'm going to put my parentheses squared plus 1. Now in those parentheses, I put the function of g, 3x. Now I want you to be careful. When you square a quantity like 3x, you have to make sure that you square the 3 and the x. You're allowed to do that because the 3 and the x are being multiplied, not added. So if that's hard for you to see, you're taking 3x times 3x. That's what it means to square something. And then you would multiply. 3 times 3 is 9. X times x is x squared. So 9x squared plus 1. None of that combines, so that is your final answer for h of g of x. That's a little bit different than some other problems that we've done looking at this next one. So number 6 is set up different when we square a quantity than number 16. So let's try 16 together. I'm finding g of x. So the function of g on the right is going back into the function of g. So this one's tricky. You're going to take x squared plus x and put it in to that function. So let's start by filling our blanks in for the left function, g. So I have x squared plus my blank. Now in each of those blanks, you need to put the function of g, x squared plus x. It's going to look a little complicated. That's why I'm doing this one on the video. Now, just like the last problem, when I square a quantity, you are multiplying it by itself. So you need to write it out like this to start. Okay. And I'm going to tack on here this plus x squared plus x. That stays the same. Okay. We'll just, oops, I don't want those parentheses. I'll do it this way. There we go. Okay, so for that first quantity multiplication on the left, I'm going to distribute x squared times x squared is x to the 4th. X squared times x is x to the 3rd. Okay. And I have x times x squared again, which is plus x to the 3rd again. And x times x is x squared. Okay. That's what I get from multiplying out over there. Plus, I'm going to add on this x squared plus x. All right. Well, we need to now combine like terms. There's lots of x squares on here. I have x to the 4th. There's only one of those, so x to the 4th comes down. When I look at my x to the 3rd, I have 1x to the 3rd plus 1x to the third, which is 2x to the third. My x squares, I have 1x squared plus 1x squared, which is plus 2x squared. And then finally, plus my last x. There's a lot going on there, but that is your final answer. That's a tough problem. All right, and finally, we're looking at number 18, f of x. So similar to the last one, that I'm using the same function twice. The function of f is going into the function of f. So you're going to take this, and it's going to go into x in itself. So to start, you have 9 minus whatever quantity you're putting in for x. And since we're putting f into x, you need to write 9 minus x in those parentheses. Now to simplify that one, you're going to distribute the -1 that is outside, not the 9. The 9 is a constant. You're distributing the number just next to the parentheses, which is a negative. So you have -1 times 9 is -9. -1 times -x is plus x. And here you can combine like terms. 9 minus 9 is 0. So you're left with x as the final answer. Those are a little bit trickier. I want you to keep working on problems on that page and ask your teacher if you need a little bit more help.